Hi, welcome to the Whiska Chicks podcast. My name is Amy.
And I'm Amy's sister, Susie.
We are going to be talking to you about Whiska Chicks. You may ask yourself, what in the world is a Whiska Chick? Well, it's a term our Nana, our grandmother, used to describe anything and everything, like a doodad or a thingamajig.
For our purposes today, Amy and I have framed Whiska Chicks as those random moments in life that accumulate over time that compel us to grow, learn, and evolve. Whether it's good, bad, ugly, funny, or sad, with each Whiska Chick comes a lesson, an aha moment, a lotus blooming from the mud and muck, resulting in wisdom and healing.
Whiska Chicks have brought us both to a place in our lives where we love ourselves and speak our truths. The last thing Nana said to me before she passed on was, "Be true to yourself, little A." That was the nickname she had for me. The angel spoke straight through her in that moment, and I knew I had quite a journey ahead of me. It was that Whiska Chick, the last Whiska Chick she delivered, that set me off on an incredible growth journey. She is the force behind this creative endeavor. We dedicate every Whiska Chick to her. We're grateful you're here.
Everybody, and welcome back to the Whiska Chicks podcast. My name is Susie.
And I'm Amy.
And we are back. Episode, what did I say this was? 16?
17, I think.
17. Holy cow. And many millions more to come. Anyway, today, Amy and I decided to talk about trees. You might be saying, why the hell would you just talk about trees? Well, trees have a significant place on the earth and in our lives spiritually and whatnot. And it was funny. I looked, everybody uses the term, help me, tree hugger. And I looked that up, and you know that I didn't actually realize that had everything to do with like political connotations of people like hanging onto trees so they wouldn't be cut down.
Right,
and
like back in the 60s and 70s and
in the hippies and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I'm like, okay, well, maybe I don't want to use the term tree hugger because this isn't about politics. But so trees, I spend most of my day at work just literally saying, I wish I was a tree. I'm jealous of the trees. It's funny. So trees are ancient, sentient beings, and they have feelings, and they have, I think, thoughts, and definitely energy. They communicate. So before we get into that, I just want to ask you, if you've ever been somewhere like in a forest or something, and you just stop and you look up and you look at all the trees and you take a deep breath and you hear the wind blowing through the trees and just remembering how that feels. And that's exactly what we're going to talk about today, is just what trees do for us.
Well, we can't live without them. We give them carbon dioxide and they give us oxygen. It's a symbiotic relationship. We need them just as much as they need us.
That doesn't sound symbiotic when you say it.
Why?
We're giving them the and they're giving us the
but they need that to photosynthesize.
Yes, that's true. That's very true.
I'll cut the science out. This is more spiritual than scientific.
There is science involved in this, But for me, so I live in the beautiful Pacific Northwest. I live in Washington State. I live in Washington State. Listen, there are beautiful trees in California too. You just don't live close to them.
That's true.
Go out and hug that palm tree, Amy. Let me know what kind of energy you get from that.
Actually, where we are right now, there are some pretty big, beautiful, established trees that are not palm trees. There's a lot of pines, actually. Big, tall, huge pines. But anyway, I digress.
Yes, you live in Yorba Linda, California, in Orange County. And I have to say, every time I come down to visit you, I am amazed at the the greenery that's around you, the trees that are around you. I mean, yes, there are palm trees, but sometimes it doesn't feel like Southern California. And I know you told me that you live in an actual like bird preserve area, so the trees are even more crucial. You have owls and coyotes and all that, hawks and all that beautiful birds, in your area.
Yorba Linda is an official bird sanctuary. They're protected. So I try to foster that environment with my bird bath and seeds, and I have squirrel friends and all kinds of stuff. So yeah.
You definitely do, because we sit out there with coffee and hang out with everybody. And then of course, when you come to visit me, I live in the world of huge pine trees and evergreens and willows and ferns and wait, fern's not a tree. Anyway, ferns.
Furs. You live with furs.
Furs. I live in a rainforest. It's not a tropical rainforest, but it's a rainforest.
I'd much rather be up there with your trees. I love it up there.
It is beautiful. Even as something as simple as I do, like walking to the bus stop, and even in the neighborhood I live in, there are trees that are easily over 100 years old. Even in my backyard, I've got a tree that is probably at least 80 years old. And it's about just taking a moment to stop and look at a tree, touch a tree. You can hug the tree. Absolutely hug the tree. Listen to the air going through its leaves or needles or whatever kind of, branches, whatever tree it is. And just like having a moment for like that tree's presence and life just in the ground. Because I'd be willing to bet if you're in a place where a tree is very tall and old, it was there before anything else was there.
Absolutely. And if you're quiet enough, it will whisper to you.
That's true. I actually read somewhere that druids, when they wanted help or advice, would knock on a tree 3 times, like, hello, help me.
Oh, really?
Okay, so anyway, I wanted to share some fun facts about trees. Well, they're not fun facts. They're actually just facts. Okay, as you stated, they keep our air supply fresh by absorbing carbon dioxide and then producing oxygen. They provide shade and shelter and can help reduce like heating and cooling costs because they have like insulating properties to them. They can lower air temperature by evaporating water in their leaves. It takes about 10 years for a tree to reach its most productive stage of carbon storage. I thought that was interesting because that's kind of a long time.
Yeah.
They can cut down noise pollution, acting as sound barriers. They stabilize soil and prevent erosion. They can improve water quality by slowing and filtering rainwater, as well as protecting aquifers and watersheds. They can help with flooding because they kind of like, are in between the sky and the ground when like rain and snowfall. They can kind of like, temper the amount of precipitation that hits the ground.
Mm-hmm.
The obvious, right? They provide food and shelter for wildlife. Let me see. Okay. They're the longest living organisms on Earth. Obviously, I'm reading a list. Anyway,
yeah, I can tell.
You can't. I know, can't you?
Thank God you have a list.
Well, of course I do, because but also, so this is my favorite thing about trees. So, and this is a spiritual visualization. I can't even say that. Visualization thing. So, when I go up and hug a tree, which by the way, I've had people that see me at work and they're like, were you at blah, blah, blah park, hugging a tree the other day? I'm like, yes, I was. I literally will go up and hug a tree like I'm a child hugging an adult that I love, where I wrap my arms around it. My heart is against the bark. I look all the way up the tree, to the top if I can see it. And my feet are standing on the roots, and I close my eyes. I even have my cheek on the tree, and I visualize what is happening underneath the tree itself, under the ground. And sometimes when you look at where a tree is, you can see like other things around it that are like its friends, like other small like plant life or other little trees or whatever. It's like a whole ecosystem underneath the ground that we can't see.
Yep.
That that trees will like, I've even seen like a big tree and then like about 40 feet away like a smaller tree and like other stuff in between that, and you can totally tell like those two trees are like flanking whatever's in between them and like literally helping them. It's the most fascinating thing.
They're communicating.
They're speaking
each
tree.
other. They're communicating with it's like telephone wires.
It totally is.
Yeah.
It's almost like the ocean, right? Like when you're floating on a boat on the ocean, like you have no idea what's going on underneath you. It's a whole new world. There's a Disney reference for you.
Until Jaws pops up.
Yeah. Until you hear the dun 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 dun, and then it's over. God, that's a funny movie. I mean, it's not funny. It's funny because it was made in the 70s, but
the shark is so fake. Oh my God. When you look at it now, it's like, dude, it's
not
like
mechanical
plastic
at all. Yeah,
no.
not mechanical
anyway,
at all.
We digress.
Sidebar. Well, the last podcast we did, I mentioned Meat Suit and you referenced Buffalo Bill and Silence of the Lambs, so maybe we're starting a new trend. Is a movie reference. But
no, we're just good at sidebars. That's
we really
why we're
are
funny.
I mean, here's another sidebar. I mean, truthfully, remember before we started this podcast, we were like, basically like, we should it's like recording our phone calls.
Well, yeah, we mentioned
kind of what
that.
you guys are experiencing with us is us like, we're just chatting. Like there's no script here, people.
It's just banter. We pull a subject out of our rears and then it's like, oh, okay. And then we just get on and start talking.
Let's have a chat. Anyway, also, also, I don't know about you, but oftentimes, like, I'll be walking somewhere and, you see trees at all stages of, like, seasons. And so a tree that we have here where I live that I think you should have them down there, that absolutely, when they bloom, I think they full bloom around May. And I am like a total goober. I'm like, oh my God, I love these trees. The dogwood trees.
Oh yeah, they're so beautiful.
With their white and pink. And I'm not really a pink person, but oh my God, like I'm like a total freaking just geek. I geek out over these trees. And I know they have some Native American meaning to them, but I found this this list online of trees and like their symbolism. Oh my God.
Maybe if you talk about twees like Elmer Fudd, you'll talk better.
So I found this list of twees and the symbolism. Oh, you're right. You're so right. Symbolism
Elmer for the win.
Right. So the dogwood tree symbolizes rebirth, renewal, and hope. And so I was born in April, which is when things like kind of start waking up from their winter sleep. And, things are blooming, all the color, everything like that. Now we can see things coming to life and being reborn. And trees are so amazing. Like the magnolia tree, the dogwood tree, mimosa trees. Just like watching, I mean, most people look at flowers. I look at trees too. I mean, oh my God. So, yeah. I mean, I guess what I'm trying to say is like, if you see a tree, and maybe it's a tree you see more than once, and you're like, God, I really feel a connection with that tree. It's totally okay to say that, by the way. And, look it up. Look up the meaning of that tree, because I guarantee you it means something.
Especially if you resonate with it for any particular reason. Like if you just, like I've got some trees that, like for me, the pine is everything. I mean, it's the tree that comes to me when I'm meditating and Reiki sessions. I love the pine tree, and I love Christmas too. But the other tree that I love so much, and I don't know the name of it, but it produces these pink trumpet flowers, and it's a little bit different than the one you were describing. but here it's popular, and especially at Disneyland. I don't mean to bring up
I
Disneyland,
think it's
but
the magnolia tree.
no,
It's not?
they're like pink trumpet. I think it's
Oh,
called a
right.
pink.
I remember you talking about that.
Yeah, they're all over Disneyland, and they only bloom for a very short period of time, but it is like fireworks when those things are in bloom. They're the most beautiful thing, and if it's a nice day and you've got the electric blue sky and you take a picture of the pink against the blue sky, it's just unreal. I love those trees. They're just so beautiful. The color is so vibrant. I love them.
Well, here I just read that in some cultures, pine trees are associated with purification, healing, and spiritual growth.
There you have it.
Virtue, long life, and even immortality. What was it? The pink trumpet tree? Pink
I
trumpet
think so.
tweed.
Something.
Right?
Telling you,
Twee.
I'm telling you, it's the pink trumpet twee.
I can't even pronounce the name of this. Tabe buia rosea, also
Yeah, like
called
Elmer.
pink poi. Okay. What is this? And I know, yeah, I remember you sending me pictures of it. Let me see. What's it used for? It must have cabinets, interior finishings, and parquet flooring. Well, that's not what they're.
The pink trumpet tree?
That's what it says. Hold on a sec. Spirit meaning of that. Everything's got. Listen, people. Everything has a spiritual meaning. I am not joking. Okay. Well, first of all, this says that the pink trumpet tree is regarded highly for its healing qualities and was in fact considered the sacred tree and medicine of the Mayan culture.
Ooh. It is the pink
that
trumpet tree. That's the one that's what I'm talking about. I just looked it up. It's
That's
beautiful.
what I'm talking about.
I just want to make sure, so I pulled it up and see, get a picture of it. Those are the
It's
ones.
even got a feng shui meaning associated with representing intense love relationship or lively energy restoration. I would go hump that tree if it gave me lively energy restoration.
But if you think about it from a color perspective, I mean, you can relate trees and plants and flowers to the chakras too. So the pink resonates with the heart chakra. Chakra. So love and
Chakra Khan. I really hope that people know. I really hope that someone out there gets that. I hope so. Otherwise, we'll just sound silly, but that's okay too. But anyway, so Amy and I both have this book, and it's my best friend gave me my copy. I don't know how you acquired yours. Did you just buy it?
Yeah, I just bought it after you recommended it.
Oh, really? Oh, hey.
Yeah.
Anyway, it's a tiny book. It's not big at all. And it can totally sit out on a coffee table, which is where mine sits. And I usually just open it and read a page at a time for each day, and then when I'm done, I literally start over again. But the book is literally called "How to Be More Tree: Essential Life Lessons for Perennial Happiness." And so, like, here we said we were going to do this, right?
Yep.
Just spinning through the book.
I'm just going to spin and close my eyes and land on a page and see where spirit takes me here.
All right, me too.
What do I need? Let's see.
What do I need?
What tweed do I need today?
Ooh, I got a good one. Okay, so, this is perfect for whiskey, dude. This just really happened. So mine was oh my god, the banyan tree.
Ooh,
that I would die if you got the same one. And it says, follow your own path. So I'm going to read what it says. There's usually more than one route to success, and we don't all have to follow the same path. The weird and wonderful banyan is a giant with the biggest crown of any tree, but it doesn't even start life in the ground. The seed of this enterprising maverick grows as an epiphyte in the cleft of another tree, grabbing water and nutrients from its surroundings. Once it gets going, it lowers some roots to the ground straight from its branches. There really is more than one way to be a tree. See, that's very poignant to me right now. I just flipped the book.
It's weird and wonderful, just like us.
True.
So I flip to and I flip to live in the moment. It's the Yoshino cherry tree. This is actually perfect for me. It's got a birdie on the page with a little honey bee, which I just absolutely love. But any lucky person who gets to see the amazing blossoms on the Yoshino. Now I need to talk like Elmer Fudd. On the Yoshino cherry in real life is sure to be bowled over by the experience. In Japan, families and friends get together to picnic under these beautiful, almost pure white blossom. Oh, pure white blooms.
Try saying that 50 times fast.
For the 2 short weeks they are out. For Buddhists, this is a spiritual experience which reminds us that beauty, like life, is fleeting. So appreciate it while it's happening and make the most of every moment. We talk a lot about being in the moment on Whiskey Chicks.
We do. That's a really good one.
It is.
I love that.
I love a good Buddhist reference.
Well, yeah, who doesn't? If you don't, I wouldn't go there. But, so, anyway, when you stand there and you look at a tree, any kind of tree, and there's a bunch of sayings out there for trees, like they bend, but they don't break and blah, blah. But you know what? That's not true. They do break. They really do. But even if a tree like cracks and falls over, roots, out of the ground, and the tree just, on the ground, even then, life does not, it starts anew. And, there's so many times. That's one of the beautiful things about hiking here where I live is like you'll be walking like through a forest and you'll see all these fallen trees, and there's like a whole new ecosystem growing off of the tree that has fallen on the ground. So trees just like, they're grounding, they're stable. They do bend like, like a river where, water finds its way. Like the tree always finds a way. Even when it appears to be dead, there's still life around it. And it's strong, it's steadfast, it endures. It's connected to the earth,
I think it's interesting that you flip to the banyan tree. I'm sure most everybody listening to this know about the fires on Maui, and how the little town of Lahaina was basically destroyed. And in the middle of Lahaina town is this old, ginormous banyan tree. And I've visited that tree many times. It is utterly amazing. I'm sure some of our listeners have too and have taken pictures with it. It's a landmark. It burned. But it's starting to come back. It's growing new life in a burned down historic town. It's something that is regenerating and coming back to life. And I'm so happy about that, because that tree it's unbelievable. It's huge, and it just has so much history. And if it could tell stories, it was just devastating to hear about, the fire and poor little Lahaina town. And it's a historic place. And then the tree, that was just devastating, but it's coming back. I hear it's got branches, it's got greenery. It's like it's coming back. So
isn't that amazing when we hear about, and not just in Maui, but all the places where there's like devastating fires. Even here, we have devastating fires, and we focus so much in the news on like how many homes were lost, and I'm like, what about like the animals and the trees? Like, that's what I'm thinking about. And not that I'm not trying to downplay, people losing their homes by any means, but I guess what I'm trying to say is nature endures. I mean, I'm not educated enough to sit here and tell you off the top of my head how old the earth is, but the earth is still here, and you think about all the gazillions of years and different phases of life that had happened since like the earth's known existence, and we're latecomers. But the plant life and the vegetation and the trees and all that, it's been around for hundreds of thousands of years. And if you've never been to like where Avenue of the Giants is, like the sequoias and stuff in California, I know why you're laughing.
I know,
and
but
no one else is gonna get it but us.
I know, but I'm not gonna say anything.
Amy and I are having an inside joke moment that we're not gonna sidebar on. But you know, I think it's so funny that, you know, we grew up in Southern California, and I never went north of San Luis Obispo until I was in my early 30s and living here in the Northwest. And I finally did a road trip like through there. And I didn't even think trees like this existed. I mean, that you could drive like a school bus through. Like, it's insane how old these trees are. And the energy, I can't even describe to you like the energy that you just walk through. And it's so like, and the only thing that was running through my head, and I was emotional when this happened, I was like, freaking respect, man. So much respect. It's powerful.
I'm 56, born and raised SoCal, have been to Yosemite once. And it was a few years ago. It took me that long to road trip up there. And it is unreal. I mean, it is so beautiful. The whole coast of California, going through Big Sur and Carmel and Monterey, and the tree that hangs on the edge of the cliff, the famous tree. You know, it's trees are just they're amazing, and I think we could all really learn from trees. I mean, they adapt, they reinvent themselves, they hang on, they go with the flow, they possess all the energy that we should be tapping into and really kind of using in our everyday lives. We really can learn from trees. So this How to Be More Tree book is really cool because it just kind of brings all that to life.
It really does. So, yeah, should we wrap this one up?
Yeah.
The tree?
Yep.
So, yes, I will put a link for How to Be More Tree in the footnotes of the episode podcast. And I just want to remind people, like, you know, when you do click on that link, that goes to a site for Whiskachicks. So just make sure you're not just looking it up on Amazon, that you click on that link and it takes you right to where you need to go and you make the purchase. So, but anyway, yeah. Did you have homework in mind?
Yeah, actually, I think I am going to assign a little homework, and that is, I want everybody to go out and find a tree that speaks to them and hug it. Sit under it, look up at it, look through its branches up at the sky. Just be with it for a moment and appreciate it for what it is, and try to really tap into its energy. That's it.
I love that. I live that homework every day. But yeah. And that's another step in just becoming more mindful in your daily life. You know, it could be a tree that you see every day to and from work or on your walk with the dog or something, but don't just be like, oh, look, there's a tree, I'm going to go hug it.
No, I want you to take a moment and just like have a moment of gratitude, like we should with everything in our life. Be grateful for the tree because it's there to give us much needed oxygen and clean the air and provide shade, possibly food, so find your tree and also thank it. Thank it 3 times. Thank you, thank you, thank you, and express your gratitude.
Yeah. And I would say a little maybe footnote to your homework is like, if it's a specific kind of tree that you're drawn to, look up and see if there's a spirit meaning with that resonates with you.
Yes,
and maybe
absolutely.
why it's calling to you. So, but
it has a message for you.
Absolutely. But I would really encourage you all, of all the books that I have, like, I really love this book because it takes like less than 2 minutes. You start your day, you just flip through it, let the universe decide what it wants to show you. And I'm telling you, like, the shit is real, and it's really freaking cool when you just open your mind and connect. So,
yep.
Anyway, well, we're going to end it there. Want to thank you for being with us yet again for another episode of the Whiskachicks podcast. And we always end it by, what would old Nana say?
Be true to yourself.